about the 90 minutes in your own words?
Certainly a game of two halves. I think what was evident is that we were up against a team that's a lot of energy, very direct in the way that they play, 4-4-2, look to search behind, good runners behind, and around that, what you have to be able to do is keep the ball well enough. And in a first half period, I thought our ball retention wasn't good enough, which made it difficult for us. In the times when we could change the play, which was when you've got a team that you're playing against in 4-4-2 narrow with high energy, then the travel of the ball has got to be quicker. So I didn't think we was good enough on the ball in a first half period. Second half, of course, better, but the game opens up. And I think we were able to capitalise then on the spaces. And then it becomes the job then to score goals. And of course, we entered the final third a lot more in the second half than what we did in the first half. But either perhaps a lack of quality at times saw us not get opportunities. I think you have to credit them. I think they defended very well in their moments. But we had to make more of the possession that we had, and particularly the possession we had in the final third.
Right. Before my colleagues come in, quick one. Can you give an update on Kudus, and then if there are any injuries as well, you can touch on for clarity.
Yes, so probably four with Iñaki. Iñaki had before he joined us. He joined us a touch later than we wanted to. He had an illness at home. He's fine now, but he's obviously missed a good period of training, and I think has only had 2 days training with us. Semenyo was ill yesterday. We thought he couldn't train yesterday. We were monitoring to see how he was today. There was no change today, so that excluded him from the game. Salis picked up a knock in training yesterday, which meant that he couldn't be involved in the squad today. And with Kudus, we've been in regular communication with him and his club. He does have an injury. He is recovering from that injury and will join us tomorrow.
Right. Okay. Your name, media house, please.
My name is John Njibosiako. I'm representing Tech FM plus Ghana Web 2. Coach, would you admit that fans always play massive role in terms of contemporary football? But look at Dede and Richmond Lamptey. You know, they are from Kumasi and the supporters love them. You don't think that they coming on could have energized the supporters base for you to get a goal?
No, it's a good point, and I understand. This I understand. What I have to do is I have to make decisions in the game about which changes that I want to make. Certainly as regards Richmond, we know where he plays, and I understand the question. He's in the squad for the first time. We're delighted to have him in the squad, but I have to make these decisions, the same decisions I have to make with Dede Andre coming in, or Ashimiro, the timing that he comes, and what effect that they can have on the game. And probably from a technical point of view, I think that the fact I brought Ashimiro on at the time that I brought him on, I wanted perhaps a more defensive player to stay on the pitch just to give us that balance, because I knew I would be changing the front two, and I knew I'd be changing the two wide players. So it was for me just to have that one, what I regard as a proper defensive midfield player. But I understand the question.
Right, so take 3 more questions. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Then we are done. So blank set.
Coach Ejekun Blanson from Super TV. Coach, what else I have noticed about your team, and I asked you the same question when we play against Liberia at the Accra Sports Stadium. Your team always play best game in the second half. In your first half, you always don't come to the party. And you told me that you are going to work on it, but I have not seen the changes as at now. You are going to have come.
Yes, and I would agree with you on today's performance. Yeah, exactly. You know, this is not something that we plan. You know, and I know that when the score at half time is you are drawing or you are losing the game, then of course there has to be more urgency to get back into the game. But you are right. We've had a lot of performances where the change in personnel, we've benefited from that change in personnel. Sometimes it's not such a problem, providing the end result is the correct result. And sometimes it's not a bad thing to stay in games. If I'm looking at the pluses from today, still, even though we didn't score and didn't play so well in the first half period, we didn't concede. And as long as I think we always feel that if we can stay in the game, if we haven't played particularly well and we can stay in the game, we have the players that can change the game, the players that can come on and have an effect offensively in our game. It's not something that we plan. What you said is correct. That overall we have been a better team in the second half than the first half. And as I say, it's my responsibility and the team's responsibility to enable us to change that.
Right, Kelvin.
But I think I'm sorry, Kelvin.
Kelvin.
TV3. We've struggled to get in goals, and going into the AFCON, you know, yes, you may have a watertight defense, but you need the goals to be winning you the games as well. Is the lack of bite up front problematic for you?
Yeah, I think every area that we're not getting as much success as what we would like is always something that can be a concern for us, and probably you are right. If I look at today's performance, I think although the opposition had some half chances, we were relatively solid at the back. Yes, we can only win games by scoring goals, and I don't think at times in some games, in a first half period, the problem was that we never got into good enough positions to enable us to create opportunities. Second half we did. I think we got into enough good opportunities, particularly good crossing opportunities, that we needed to benefit from it, and we didn't. So I think it's about sometimes that little bit of composure. Sometimes it's about that little bit more aggression once we get into the box, and sometimes it's about getting that extra player in the box. But whatever it is, yes, it's something that we have to be better at if we are going to win football matches.
Yeah.
My name is Yawapia, a freelance for now. My colleague added a bit of my question, so I'll add a bit and then I'll go to my main question. We seem to have issues in the two boxes, in our defense and then in our attack. We don't convert our chances and then we concede chances, just that mostly our opponents do not take chances and then they end up missing them. Do you think it's a concern going into a big tournament like this? And then the absence of Avarama, are we going to make him going to have at your disposal in terms of the defense?
Yeah. So on the
Concession of chances and creating.
yes, on as regards to the two boxes, I mean we I think when we talk about the two boxes, we we always prefer to talk about the team. You know, I think if we're conceding goals, then it's not just about a back four, unless there are particular errors, unless defenders are making errors that are leading to goals. But generally, we would look at the team. If we're defending well, or if we're not defending well, it means we're not defending well as a team. If we have a particular player, if a particular striker or a wide player that's missing lots of chances, then that's an individual thing. I don't think that's the case. I think we are not creating enough really good chances as a team, and so I think always the team has to take responsibility for that. I enjoyed in the second half. I enjoyed a lot of what we did offensively in that second half. What I didn't enjoy was that we didn't have a couple of goals to come away from at the end of the game. So this is about a team, not about individuals. And the well, I think it's what happens is that we have a squad. We have a squad that's picked of 27 players, and it will be this 27 players that we hope will make the nation proud, and we will have a good AFCON. As regards individuals, I think everybody could speak about some individuals that are not in the squad, that perhaps should be in the squad, but that's always about opinion. And I have the fortunate, I think it's fortunate, job of picking squad. It's difficult. It's very difficult, and sometimes the circumstances why you can't pick somebody. But all I can do is pick the 27 players that I think can do best in an AFCON, and we can be successful.
Derek. Right, Coach Derek Ayimi here with MX24 Television. 6 days to our kickoff against Cape Verde. Looking at your max man and Mohamed Kudus getting some injury, who is not yet fit now, and some other players who are unwell. Moving into that tournament, how confident are you? Given that our last outing has been absolutely atrocious, we went out from the group stages. Do you think that you're a big pressure going into this tournament? And do you also think the team is ready for this tournament?
I think as regards pressure going into a tournament, I think every coach, every head coach that takes a team into this tournament is under pressure. It's normal. It comes with the job. And I think as regards being ready, you never know. You never know if you are ready or not. You will know that when that first game comes, because I've been involved in teams and watched teams that haven't done particularly well, and when it comes to a first game of a tournament, all of a sudden their levels go up, and they can prove worthy winners. So I think you never know. All we can do is prepare the best way we can. It's of course never helpful when some players have to miss a period of training. That's never helpful. But we probably wouldn't be the only team that are in that position, and we have to make the most of what we have, and we have to ensure that we are ready come that first game of the season. It's the first game of the tournament.
Clinton, 30 seconds, and then Henry will have the last word for us.
Okay. I asked the other coach what his target was for the AFCON. What is your target? What do you wish to achieve with this?
And what did the other coach say?
They want to do better than they did.
They want to do better.
Okay. Well, I won't say that. I sincerely hope we do better than in our last tournament. I think when you ask coaches these questions, coaches are always hesitant to give real targets, because I think we know expectations are high. I want to be head coach of a team that makes the country proud in this tournament. How far we can go will depend on the performances that we can put in. one thing I know is that there's a group of players that desperately want to do well. And if you have a group of players that desperately want to do well, you never know what can happen. And I don't think any of us, and I certainly don't want to be head coach of a team that doesn't think they have any chance of winning it. You know, I think that has to be the mentality going into a tournament. And but we know that we have to play well. We have to play well. We have to have things go our way. We have to be fortunate, maybe with injuries, but we have to be very, very optimistic that we can do really well.
Right. Thank you, Coach Henry. I would want you to take this opportunity to give us the final itinerary for the team.
Just we are here, and we've been very grateful to be here. Actually, in Kumasi, we've trained well. We will train again tomorrow, and then we will leave on. So today is Monday. We will leave on Wednesday, late morning. We will leave on Wednesday and look to get a training session in Ivory Coast on Wednesday.